Hope you guys are enjoying the drinks. Thank you guys and hope this blows. Thanks for coming.
Loca! 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 Awesome, thank you.
Neha Dharmapuram. She's an actor, singer, dancer, and a communication strategist. What actually happened in the life basically that puts art into your mainstream thing?
My journey with art specifically started when I was like 3 or 4, when my mom forced me to be in Carnatic music. So I learned like music, piano, swimming, like all the basics I had done by the time I was like.
How do you see social media as?
They're judging everything that everyone is posting, and they're more critical of influencers because obviously everyone's tired of it. I'm tired of it sometimes. I have accounts muted myself. Everyone tells you to have a niche. I don't believe in niches. I believe in like you being able to sell yourself as a brand rather than like
the AI in general, right? Do you think his intentions eventually going to be bad, or is it just like, it's a machine, so it's probably just going to be in whatever direction we put it?
But I think it is making things cheaper, faster. A human can, which is true. Well, I ask my manager all the time, I'm like, do you think AI is going to take my job? Like, what do I do? Because I'm like so scared.
Sophia would take my job,
No, seriously, I'm like, AI could have just been doing a script this whole time.
What do you think about?
Oh my God.
Welcome to today's episode of Hills Media Podcast. I have an incredible guest joining me today, Neha Dharmapuram. She's an actor, singer, dancer, and a communication strategist whose career is all over the places, from choreographing dance numbers at weddings to also starring in Come Fall in Love, a Broadway musical based on DDLJ, also known as Dilwale Dulhaniya Le Jayenge. And she's inspiring all the South Asian presence in media and entertainment. Neha, it's finally good to meet you. How are you doing today?
Thank you. Really well. Excited to be traveling soon and for it to be holiday season. So just pushing through the final weeks.
I see. So let's start from the very beginning, actually. Tell us where you grew up and what actually happened in the life basically that puts art into your mainstream thing. Like, this is what I wanted to do now.
Yeah, I think my journey with art specifically started when I was like 3 or 4, when my mom forced me to be in Carnatic music.
Oh.
I remember crying every single day, getting nudged into that room, and I hated it, and I was scared of everybody there, but I'm really glad that that was where like my roots started, and I'm really glad that now I can sing for myself and I can sing to entertain other people. Wow. I think my mom at that time tried to put me in dance class also, but I was not having it. So I was like, she chose one battle, and she was also always the person that put me in every extracurricular activity just to make sure that I was well diversified, had options when I was growing up to pick what I like to do and stuff. So I learned like music, piano, swimming, like all the basics I had done by the time I was like 8 or 9, so that I could then choose like what I want to focus more on, what I like to do, not just what my parents want me to do. So that's kind of where it started. And I grew up in a mixture of both India and America, which I think makes me like the combination of Indian American that everyone talks about.
The perfect combination.
Ideal combination, because I'm like very rooted in my culture, but then also so much of my lived experience has been in the States. So I feel like I can speak to both and I connect pretty well to both, but I do like being in India a little bit more. But I love it here. Most of my family and friends are here since I spent most of my time here. And yeah, I moved to Dallas when I was about 12 years old, which is where like my artistic journey really kicked off. That's where I started to meet more South Asians like myself and went to more dance classes, singing classes, and that's just how the community built, and that's where my passion grew.
Awesome. Actually, I see that you wear many hats, right? Like you're a singer, you're a dancer, and you also act as well. Mm-hmm. Which one of them would you think like is the most identifiable aspect, or like how do you think that all of this collective art actually defines your identity in a sense?
I think it's just like I do what I love. Like if I don't like it, I'm not going to spend any time on it. And if I feel like, oh, I feel good doing this, I come out of this feeling better. A lot of it was driven by mental health as well, because in times of like, I just didn't know what to do with myself and I was confused and I just was always isolating myself. Dance, singing, acting are the things that got me out of the door. It got me meeting people that had similar passions, and
Art always
just
does that,
like,
right?
Yeah, it always just like invokes like some will to live and something to look forward to. So I think like all three of them have done that for me. I think dance is something that I do more often than the other two now, at least to show to other people. I sing on my own, but growing up singing was the main focus. Now I feel like I do a little bit more dance. Right now I feel like everything is on a back seat because of like full-time work and social media and stuff, but they're all things that just bring me joy and like put me closer to people that I like.
So have you thought about like in that sense that let's say like when you were doing when you first started singing or dancing, right? As you said, like, first it was your mom who kind of like steered you towards this direction.
Yeah.
What was the point of in your life, like when you decided that, I love this thing? This is where like, I think I'm pretty good at this thing. This is going to get me somewhere.
I don't know if I ever thought I was pretty good at it. In fact, when I started dancing, I was like probably the worst dancer in the room.
Really?
And my parents were like, you should think about another hobby, because it was like embarrassing. I still watch some of the YouTube videos that my dad has of me, and it's just like, I don't know what it was. I think when I like something, I want to get really good at it. And I also feel like I had a lot of mentors in everything that I did. My parents never said no to investing in something that I was excited about. Especially being an only child, my parents were like, you know what, you want to go be outside of the house for a few hours?
Yeah.
Go do that. So I think around high school when I joined a dance team, and around then I also was in the singing competition. So that's when I was like, look, I think the universe is telling me something here. Like things are happening for me, opportunities are coming my way, and like maybe I'm not the most talented person in the room, but I feel like I have a way of capturing people's attention for some reason. So I was like, I think this is what's like meant to be for me, and I'm not going to push away from that.
Oh, I see. Have you ever thought about like, when you're performing or like, you're doing something that, what if these people don't like what I'm actually doing? Or like something like, what if I have this one of that moment whenever you're doing a performance, you always have this kind of an epiphany that, what if I'm actually messing it up or something is not working out for you?
Yeah.
How do you manage those times? Like, how do you deal with those situations? Is there a clear mindset you go towards or something else?
I constantly feel like I'm just above average at things, and I think I'm very tough on myself. But I genuinely feel like in school and a lot of stuff, I feel like I cruised by being above average, just good enough to people talk about it, but I was never like excellent at anything in my eyes. Obviously my parents and friends and family will say differently because they're just like supportive people. But for me, I'm like, even till today, I'm like, look, like I'm doing enough, and maybe I'm doing a little bit more than enough, but like what is it? Because it doesn't feel like some stark change in my life happened. But I feel like sometimes it's good to sit down and have that perspective of, just because you're not the next like Priyanka Chopra doesn't mean you haven't achieved anything in your life. And like the little interactions that I have with people that are like, I love your content, or like, you inspired me to do X, Y, and Z, or just my friends being like, you dance, can you teach me how to do it? Things like that I'm like, not everything is about the big wins, but it's also like you have to enjoy your day-to-day life. So I try
appreciate
to
the small
myself.
wins more kind of a factor. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm very like focused on the big thing and the achievement, and it's a toxic trait of mine that I'm trying to get rid of.
I think
in
it's
adulthood.
good. Like in my opinion, what I feel like is, it's always great to set your sights higher.
Yeah.
Just so that, whatever you're achieving, and then be satisfied in that too, then again set your sights higher. Like that's how I kind of approach it, and I think you do the same thing too.
And in that there's a lot of downtime, so it's hard to stay focused.
Oh yeah,
and like not be like, am I doing the right thing? Is this worth my time? Like, where is the money gonna come from? Like there's so many things, especially because no one in my family is from this background.
Yeah.
Not a lot of my friends are either. Maybe people that I met through the circle that I became friends later because of the connection there are. But like apart from that, everyone is in a very different world. So sometimes I'm just like sitting there by myself in my bedroom and I'm like, what is, like there's no clear next step. You kind of have to just wait that the universe will like
just bring
you
everything
a sign
together,
or like give you an opportunity that will take you to the next step. So I kind of have found peace in just letting it be. And like obviously you have to work for it, but it's like sometimes things just fall into place when they're meant to be. And that has helped me a little bit. But yeah, it's tough.
Wow. There's actually a really good way of putting that, like, explaining in certain situation as to like what basically an artist goes through.
Mm-hmm.
I think that pretty much connects to a lot of things, especially like, if you wanted to get into the entertainment industry, you have to be in a certain mindset. Speaking of which, let's trace it back from the very beginning of the childhood. Let's say, as you mentioned, 8 years old, you were already learning dancing and singing and everything. Now the big transition was also coming, moving abroad and moving to America.
Yeah.
What was that like? What was that experience like? Walk us through that.
I first moved straight to Rhode Island. For people that don't know, it's like the smallest state in the States, and it's like the most American state. I had like one
Long Island.
Yeah, like it was a huge culture shock for me. Like I didn't even know what America was, and then I was thrown into that world.
God, yeah.
At that time, I wasn't shy. I was very extroverted. So I think I was able to manage even with the new people that were there, even though I got bullied and stuff. I used to be like, haha, I'm from India. Like, I don't care about this stuff.
So is that was the thing during that point, like,
Yeah, I feel like everyone says they got bullied, but like a lot of people that say it are like colored people. So it's like, it's a real experience. At that time, I was like hairier than the average person. So there used to be like, oh, she's a gorilla, like all these things. And now I'm like, that's so ridiculous. Like I could have just gotten it waxed. Like it's fine. But at that
there
time,
are usually a bunch of losers, like who are very insecure
now
about their own
he's
thing.
probably been in jail a few times, the guy that said that to me. But
See?
I have actually
Karma.
looked into it, and he has been. So I'm not making it up.
Karma.
Yeah. So it was really tough. I had one other South Asian friend who happened to be Telugu and like my age as well. And we both met in dance class. So that was like my one safe space of like reconnecting and that like keeping that little piece of home. And at home, it was just my mom, dad, and I. So like we really had no choice. But like at home, I was Indian, and outside I was pretending to be American. And that's just how it was. But I think once I moved to Dallas, my parents kind of realized also that like Rhode Island has not really helped her connect with her culture, thrive.
I think so too, yeah.
The competition's not there. Like I was always the best without doing anything. And so
And
they
then people
wanted
get
me-
jealous most of the time.
Yeah.
They kind of build an
Or
insecurity.
they didn't even care. Like they didn't care about education. Not to like say it, not all Americans care, but like the school that I was in, it was just like not competitive. And my parents just were like, I think we need to put her in an environment where she'll thrive and she'll get challenged a little bit more.
I see.
Which is why we moved to Dallas. And since Dallas has been like all
That has
of
been a
the-
bit of a really
Oh
good...
yeah, Dallas changed my life. I mean, I don't like Dallas that much, but it did change my life. The food is great, but it put me in the communities where people were doing extra stuff. Like they were doing events and dance performances, and there was a lot of dance teachers, singing teachers. All my friends my age were also doing it, and I had an exclusively Telugu girlfriend group in middle school. So now you know like the volume of Indian people in Dallas where I had that choice. So I think that really was a turning point for me.
I see. Wow, that was like a lot, especially like for a kid who was just like, 8, 9 years old and like dealing with all of these things combined. Also, did you have some problems with the language as well at first, or was it like a very smooth transition too?
I was put in ESL class, which is basically like for kids that can't speak English, but I fully was fluent in English. They just didn't like my accent, and they didn't like the way that I misspelled things. So, I mean,
Misspelled. I mean, like
It's
originally
just
it's
different.
British accent. What are you guys fooling about this?
So I was obviously the topper in that class too, because I wasn't meant to be there. But apart from that, I don't remember struggling that much, honestly.
Comparing to that time and to today's world, do you think there was like a significant change when it comes to like South Indian recognition, South Asian recognition, and then also like, in a mainstream as well, like, earlier times they just used to do a stereotype and shun us in a certain sense. Do you think that is changing, or is it still very slow compared to like how it used to be back then?
I think in the last 5 years, something switched. Some flip happened. Everyone was tired of it, because I even remember in high school talking about like, if I go into acting, like I'm gonna have to be the doctor, or I'm gonna have to be the nerd or the weird girl. Like, and I used to be like, I want to move to India and do acting because I don't want to be the stereotypical role. Like want to tell a story about like a main character despite their race, identity, whatever it is.
Exactly.
But I feel like now, like maybe since COVID or maybe a little bit before COVID, there's a lot of trailblazers creating that space for us. People understand the spending power of a South Asian. And we just have a lot more, we're in a generation where we have a little bit more flexibility in chasing our dreams than maybe the generation that my parents come from, or even the generation after them. So I feel like some sense of like, I need to do whatever I can with this freedom. Like I have my parents to rely on, like I'm not fighting every day to survive, which is such a blessing. So I think there's more of us that are like willing to take that year or two to do something incredible. So I definitely think it's an up and coming, and everyone, including brands, when I work on social media, know that like there's power to our words and our presence, and I think it's only going to grow.
Yep. And plus, like, you know, they saw in like the recent matches that happened between India, Pakistan and everything, just for the audience, that created like $200 million just for that 4 days of like the match that was happening. That's also one of the reasons why people started looking into this, that hey, maybe like the South Asian market is very untapped.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So this was very deep and very actually very amazing to self-reflect on a lot of things.
Yeah.
Let's do a little bit lighter round on this one.
Okay.
So while I was checking, I was literally stalking your Instagram. I came across this thing that you're trying to learn football rules.
Oh yes, it's tough.
Is it American football or the real football?
Don't say that to the football fans.
It is what it is, guys.
American football. So my now fiance is obsessed with football. He grew up with it.
I see.
I'm trying to be supportive. I just can't. It's like watching 50 over matches versus 20 over. I'm like, I can't sit here forever and ever. They're just like stopping every 2 seconds. I don't know what direction it's going. So I now sit with my iPad and my headphones next to him, and I support him watching it. And if he's emotionally damaged after, I'll support him, but it's a little tough for me.
It's a little tough, right?
Yeah.
Like, especially with the rules and all those things that combines are like, oh, okay, this guy's going over there. Sorry, guys, I'm not that much of a football fan. Like, real football fan, yes. American football, not so much. But that's how it is.
Everyone's very passionate about it. It's a cult.
Yeah, it's a cult.
If you like being in that group, it's a great way to meet people, and it's a great water cooler talk in the office.
Yeah.
So every now and then on Sunday, he'll be like, this happened. Just talk about it to your coworkers tomorrow.
Yeah.
So then I'll just bring it up in like a meeting and be like, okay, now I did my job. I'm done.
But it kind of feels very, what do we say, like kind of feels like you're putting ourselves in like an outside perspective because we are not able to understand the game.
Yeah.
I always feel like, I'm getting left out because I don't understand this game and everybody around me is like talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why sometimes I think it's important to put the effort in.
Yeah.
But, some people like football, some people don't. I can just be an Indian American that doesn't like football.
Exactly. And there's nothing wrong with that, I guess.
Yeah. So that's my take on it. But I'll go and watch a live show. I love live sports, so I'll go to the game.
So you've talked about the whole artistic journey that you took, like having multifaceted talents. I also was researching about that you have a very good knack for storytelling.
Yeah.
How did that start? And how did that transition into this Broadway musical based on the Bollywood classic?
I will say my storytelling is probably not like film kind of storytelling. Storytelling for me comes in the piece of advertising and marketing. So I don't know if it had much to do with DDLJ, but like that was just to be able to be a part of that. That was like such a good learning experience because the director of that was Aditya Chopra sir. So like being able to interact with him, just seeing how he like envisioned things and how he was bringing it to life, it was just an incredible experience. But outside of that, storytelling is really about advertising to the South Asian market or advertising to a minority, or just finding human truths and then being able to connect with people over them, especially when you're in your face. There's ads every single day, whether it be billboards, it's your phone, like there's literally so much advertising.
Yeah.
So for something to matter to someone, you just have to dig a little bit deeper these days than you probably had to in the past.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's where my storytelling and my interest comes, not necessarily like cinematic.
And I also heard that you have a really good talent of combining art and marketing together.
Wow, someone's telling you fake news.
Wait, is that fake news? I mean, like, no, but in all honesty, she's just being modest. I guess like you were actually doing a really good job when it comes to presenting a certain factor, like let's say a certain product, and just making a reach out of it and making a buzz in South Asian market.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope so, because like that's the power of the numbers that I have, or influencers have. So if you're not good at the craft itself, I feel like you probably don't have the numbers. I feel like a lot of people think like they're just posting, like they're pretty or they have money so they look nice. But there is a storytelling aspect to social media, especially if you're going for like lifestyle content creators and stuff. And now more than ever, people are so like, they're judging everything that everyone is posting, and they're more critical of influencers because obviously everyone's tired of it. I'm tired of it sometimes. I have accounts muted myself. So it's like really being able to talk to people, let them trust you, tell a story that's not like, hey, I have this product, buy it. Like, they're expecting more from influencers. So I feel like that's something that I've been trying to do a little bit better about, because it's hard at the end of the day. Like, I can't come up, especially because a lot of these brands have really strict guidelines. I feel like people don't know that, but sometimes I'm given like, you have to say these 5 sentences within 30 seconds, but make it feel organic, but make it feel authentic to you, but don't let it know it's like an ad. So it's like,
like it's super easy.
There's so much that goes on behind the scenes. Like right now, like there's 5 steps before I even get to the video part of the conversation. So it is definitely a craft. I'm not saying that I mastered it, but it's something that I'm aware of. And I think being in the back end of marketing strategy also helps a little bit, because I know what the perspective of the brand is as well.
I see. As you said about social media, I want to dive into this world of social media and content creation, just deep dive. So in my understanding, so basically, how do you see social media as? Growing up as like, I'm guessing as 90s kid as well, and like, you know, navigating throughout this different kind of technology that comes across from radio to television to transistors, flat screens, and then social media. How do you think that has shaped your personality or like your change of worldview?
Honestly, I don't know when it happened and how it happened so overwhelmingly. I remember just like messing around. My parents didn't buy me an iPhone until like high school. So I had like an iTouch or like a flip phone, and everyone else had an iPhone. It was a whole thing. So I was pretty detached for a really long time. We didn't watch cable TV or anything at home either. So I was only really exposed to whatever my parents watched, which was like the news or a Telugu movie every now and then.
Oh, I see.
So I was very detached until all of a sudden I wasn't at all. And I had the world at my palms, literally. Social media today, I feel like, is overwhelming. It's a little distracting. I know I'm a content creator and I'm saying this, but honestly, I feel that way.
It's a very big thing, I mean.
I'm constantly on my phone. I constantly have to do 2 things. There's this constant like comparison of like, their life looks so extravagant, what is mine? Which a lot of it is fabricated, and like everyone's kind of aware of it, but it still gets to you.
Do you think that comparison kind of ruins things in a sense, that when you're, especially when you are at that stage of like, you know, you are an influencer and then you also see a fellow one, and then you kind of see that maybe my ideas are a bit colliding with each other. Do you think there is a competition over there too?
I think more than competition, it's like I like put fear on myself, and I like put pressure on myself to do better all the time. And I also feel like we're aware that the opportunities are minimal for South Asians. At this point, like there's only 5 spots and all 1,900 of you are fighting for that 5 spot. And that's a reality. It's not that I wish worse for someone else, but I know if a brand is like, I want someone with X amount of followers, blah, 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 like either you're the best or you're not.
Oh, I see. So that's how like basically the selection goes over.
Yeah, I think a lot of brands, they have quotas, right? Like they're like, hey, we want to work with this diverse portfolio, one of them being a South Asian. So it's like...
So there is a quota system that this is the only quota for...
That's what I've seen. They usually be like, we want to work with 5 to 10 influencers and we want them to be diverse. Usually South Asian, one of them, and then like East Asian, one of them, like, which is fair from a brand's perspective. But as a content creator and artist, you know you're fighting for that one spot. Exactly. You're fighting for your foot in the door.
Literally 1.5 billion people.
No, it's a huge... And there's more and more content creators. We all like similar things. We do similar things. Obviously, we're individually different, but our content, I feel like, is becoming more and more similar. So there's this like, I need to diversify. I need to change it. I need to pivot. Like there's that like, I would call it tension, not competition. I just feel scared all the time. And that's genuinely how I feel. And I watch my numbers on my social media, and it has had a negative impact on me when it goes down. And I've caught that very quickly. And I was like, this cannot be happening. Like, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, TikTok might get banned next like month. And I did all of this for 5 years.
And now we have like chances of like high as well. Like, you know, it might actually.
So I'm like, really, what was I so stressed out about all the time? Do it if it makes you feel happy. And I feel like a little bit of that has been lost because more people are making a career out of it.
Yeah.
So everyone's like, I need to do this. It seems so idealistic, but it's just not for your mental peace. Like if it's not for you, it's not for you.
It's not for you,
Yeah.
basically. What advice would you give like all those people who are actually trying to get into the business of like being an influencer or like, content creator?
Anyone can become a content creator. I mean, obviously it's not that there's a lack of skill, but like never be like, I'm not good enough for this, or like, I don't look a certain way, I don't have a certain lifestyle. Some people are craving just normal creators. They want to see something
Because
more
they're
than
oversaturated with
this
all
is like
this
fabricated world, right?
Yeah.
So like you're never not capable of it. Obviously there's an art and science to it. And if you just learn that, I feel like anyone can become a content creator. Competition is high, but it's still a really new industry. It's not like computer science where there's like so many people that are really good at it, but everyone's thriving. There's room for everybody. And I do think that there will be more room created specifically for South Asians because, as we said, the spending power is just growing crazy.
Growing.
Right now, all the brands celebrate Diwali. Who's to say in 3 years they won't also be celebrating Holi with us,
Probably, yeah.
So I think just give it a shot. If it feels like it's bringing joy to your life, then do it. And don't let anyone, because when I was doing all of this, everyone was making fun of me. They were like, oh, she's making videos, like that's so cringe, blah, blah,
They
blah.
always do.
Yeah.
They're always like some
And then
back
now they're
bitchers.
like, oh, should we make a video together? And I'm like, shut up, bro. Like, get out of my life. So they always come back.
You
So
lose a
do
chance.
yeah, like literally block everybody in your real life if you want to. Start a separate page without anyone in your real life if you're shy about it. There's so much opportunity. There's so much information to be spread. I tell my fiance who's a physician, I'm like, you need to talk about cardiac health because it's like, he specializes in South Asians. And I'm like, people need to know this information because it's hard to find. You don't know who to trust.
Yeah.
And that stuff can like really change someone's life. So like whatever your niche is, it doesn't have to be beauty. It doesn't have to be fashion, which is like what I feel like a lot of the platform
A lot of things
is.
that is going on towards
like
that.
share
yeah.
education, like share things about your life, share things that people don't know a lot about. Like I think there's so much value to it. So if you haven't done it yet, please do it. Try it.
Try.
Yeah.
So how did that actually happen? So, and stop me if I'm being a little bit too personal about this, but
Yeah.
how did a physician and a social media marketist got together and make
I don't know if I'm
things work?
supposed to tell the story, but I will. He DM'd me on TikTok.
Okay,
actually.
social media.
So the TikTok algorithm works. We're both Telugu speaking, so I guess our algorithms were kind of like similar. So my content showed up on his page and he was intrigued, I guess, because, fun people.
Higher power is watching.
Yeah, I know. I was like, no, literally the modern day love story is not even like a swipe. It was like
But that's
TikTok
sweet. That's
algorithm.
actually very sweet.
Yeah, and I never replied to DMs, but something about his DM, it was like so particular to like the kind of person I am. I guess he did good studying, just like you did some good social media studying.
You know?
No, I hope not at this point.
If you're watching, I'm sorry.
He's definitely gonna watch this.
I'm in trouble.
So he had a really good message, and then I stalked him on LinkedIn, obviously, because that's like my safe spot. I'm like,
Yeah, you
are
can
you a real
always-
person? Like,
Yeah.
I want to make sure. And
Because I
then
think LinkedIn is the only profile that people kind of
can't
maintain
lie.
very.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can't lie on it. I mean,
Nope.
I don't know if people are lying on it, but I could never
Oh,
lie.
most definitely.
Really?
Yeah, most definitely.
I
people
feel like
are
people
lying
would
on
get caught.
that. They don't care. They're like, if I get caught, we get caught. But just like shoot the shot. Let's see.
That's crazy. Yeah. I thought like LinkedIn is where people are like at least semi-honest about their age and like education.
Yeah.
Which mattered.
Yeah.
So I was like, let me just go see what this guy's story is. And then it was like approved. And then, we just kept talking for a few months. And I think he actually does singing and stuff. So we grew up very similar passions, which was important to me. I was like, you can do whatever you want full time to pay the bills, but I want you to have some creative outlet, something that you do for fun and like be passionate about it, which I found in him. So I think he was also looking for someone that will bring like fun and lightness to his life, because medicine can be very heavy, and obviously there's couples that both do it and stuff, but I think he was specifically like, I want anybody but a doctor. So it worked out, and
Maybe you can be the doctor influencer,
that I'm trying to convince him.
Yeah, you should do that,
He's
definitely.
like, bro, I don't have time. I'm like, I will set everything up. I will give you the content. I just need you to be the face of it.
Face of it, just start speaking.
Once we start living together, I'm definitely going to make him a docfluencer.
Speaking of that, do you think that it is so important nowadays that because we have such a wide access to social media that all the topics that are covering like health, mental health, or any sort of other criterias which actually make our life better should be more on the social media rather than like all the stuff which are there?
It's tough because there's so much misinformation. My mom looks at all these Facebook posts and will message me all this crap every single day. And I'm like, Mom, now that I have a doctor to support me and she can't say no to him. And he's like, that's a lie. Don't listen to them.
Plus son-in-law in India, you know.
Yeah. No, my parents are literally like that. So I'll be like, Pranav, can you just tell them not to do this? Because they read it on Facebook, and so he'll go and take care of that. But before that, there was just like, especially on Facebook and WhatsApp, I feel like there's just like
It's too much fake information.
some random stuff being spread apart. So like, I think there needs to be held to a higher standard, but obviously the reach and like just diverse audiences that can get this information is so much higher on social media. So I'm all for it. I feel more comfortable doing a quick search, trying to figure out if other people are in similar positions and like physicians talking about it. So I think there's a healthy balance. Maybe there should be a little bit more regulation in terms of like
social media
health
content
stuff that comes out, especially stuff that can like impact lives like that.
There should be like a warning or something like that hey, this is not fact checked or
Warning
something
and
like that.
fact checking people's credentials. Like, don't just like believe someone that's like, I'm an FDA approved, whatever, like, you know, like board certified, like it's probably like, what are the odds? You never know. So like always have your own research as well. But
I have gone to that point right now in my life in which like whenever I'm seeing any sort of a post on social media, the first thing that comes into my mind is like, you know, if I'm seeing social media for free, that means I'm the product and I'm getting sold in all its entirety. So whenever any information page or anything that comes to it, like let's say they are giving advices on skincare or anything like that, I'm always skeptical because it made me that way that I don't know, maybe it's 100%
because
or
so
not.
many people are selling so many things these days.
Yeah. Oh, this product is also working for that. Oh, that is the same product. One is saying that use this product for getting this thing, and the other one saying, no, don't use that. You'll actually have a very bad time. Then the same person says, no, that, and then there is a whole quarrel.
It's really tough, especially like in skincare and stuff. There's so many products. Like anything could work for you. You really don't need 5 moisturizers. But 5 different people are selling you 5 different things. I'm in my phase of like consumerism scares me so much. And I know as an influencer, like I'm a part of it. That's part of my job. So I've been having like an existential crisis of like, how do I make sure that people aren't just following me blindly? They're not just like, I'm just posting things for them to buy every single day. Like, how is there more meaning to this? Which I think I'm still trying to navigate and figure out for myself. But yeah, it's so tough. Like even myself, like when I get PR packages, I have like boxes of skincare and makeup that I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? Like I'm so grateful to be in a position like this, but I'm like one person. So I just give it to my friends and like my parents use it. They give it as gifts. Like no one person needs that many things. And I think it's become very easy to buy shit.
That actually point me towards that question that do content creators actually use the products that they are selling?
There's different people. I think some people will take any opportunity comes their way because a lot of times it's a big check. So I don't know if they will use it every single day. There's a lot that test the product before giving it to people. And then there's a lot of people that don't sell anything but the ones that they use.
Oh, I see.
So it's just who you trust and you kind of figure out patterns. If they're posting about like 5 different hair care products within a month, like, you know, they're not using all 5 of them. So I think it's pretty easy to tell now if people are just selling stuff to sell them. But
I see.
It's hard.
That's what puts me into like, you know, whenever I'm seeing something that, you should buy this product. The first thing I remember is, that influencer said not to buy this one. I'm not going to buy that now.
No, it's definitely like, I miss the in-shopping experience, trying things for yourself. And I like, whatever I post on my page, I always recommend people being like, try it out for yourself.
I see.
Like, don't just trust my word for it. Like, and I try to pick brand deals that
like be as honest
use.
And open as we can with the audience that,
There have been brands that I've been like, I don't like your stuff, sorry. So
like which one? Did we name it? Oh no. Okay.
I'm like, I was about to say it, but I'm not gonna say it.
No, we can cut that out. Don't worry about it.
No. Yeah, there's a lot of brands that I'm like, look, like I personally wouldn't use it. Or like I just recently posted about one like in the same category, and I don't want to confuse people on like what my preference is, so I'm not even going to try your product. So I try to be better about it, but it's tough.
How would you say that, so for example, now that you started the social media content, like at certain age, now it's your first 10,000 subscriber. What was that feeling like? Like, yeah, now I'm actually getting that recognition, or like, I'm getting my word out in a sense. What was that like? And how did you navigate that?
It never feels big to me for some reason. My growth has been so steady, and like it's never been like a viral video and all of a sudden I'm like famous or anything. So it's always been so gradual that it just felt like I was just growing a community over time. I don't put a lot of weight to them. Like, it doesn't feel like I'm speaking to how many ever 1,000 people. It just, I'm posting. Like, it's just like a one-way route for me. Like, I don't know. It's just hard to think about, especially for our numbers. Like, there's always people bigger than us. And so I'm like, keep yourself humble. This is not a big deal. Also, that takes the pressure off of like, I need to do some great thing, or like, my word is the word. Like, it just takes that pressure off of like, it doesn't like, obviously don't put a bad like negative thing impact in the world, but like, it's okay if something doesn't work. It's okay if you're losing followers. It's okay if people are not interested in what you have to say. Yeah,
I take it sometimes as it like, those people might not have the same kind of mindset as you were having that.
Yeah. I mean, not everyone in the 7 billion people.
That's what makes us unique, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I do remember like it feeling like a victory every time something was happening, but I'm trying to teach myself not to live for the milestones, just like do things.
Do things and get it done. Get it forward.
Do it for yourself. And if that results in milestones being hit, then that's amazing. But I get really upset when I don't meet the milestones. So I'm trying to like, just be like, do what you can now to make this worth it for you. Yeah. So I don't know. That's kind of how I'm trying. I'm preaching a lot that I'm trying to put into effect.
That's what matters, I guess. Like most of the time, it's always about like when you set your mind towards it, and then you gradually just progress towards it. I guess in this lifetime, we are all in that position in which we are exploring our own things, especially in our generation, I would say. Because I think the one thing that I have actually felt is that our parents' generation was actually very streamlined, that, get the career right, get this thing right, just get the family moving. For us, I think because of that hard work, we have much more liberty and freedom to explore our thoughts and, go into a certain factor. So I think even if we are doing it in a slow process, that's just us.
I'm just living to be like, I don't want to be miserable. I was just texting my friend today being like, I don't want to live excited for tomorrow or excited for the weekend or excited for my next week. I just want to feel okay when I wake up in the morning. Like I'm doing everything I can. I'm not sabotaging myself. But also I feel this guilt of like, my parents did so much for me. I can't just
that's always
around.
For every South Asian. It's like that.
It's so tough. I just like, every time I think about like 100% maybe I should try for a year and just like rely on my parents financially. Like I just can't do it.
It's very hard.
Because they did so much and I just want to like let them free of my responsibilities. So I'm kind of stuck in this hard place of like working and doing the creative thing, but also like, do I want to do this forever? Like that balance of like, when do you give up on your passion, or like how much of your passion do you spend your energy into? So a lot of big questions. As you can tell, I'm like in my...
You're a very, very deep person. I was like, I can see.
I don't talk much, but there's a lot going on in the head.
It's a good thing. Let it out. I mean, like, this is what we are here for. And I think a lot of people would actually understand and connect with those things. Not everybody talks about it. It's mostly like, it's very superficial nowadays, that just a very shock value things or like controversy things, but nobody goes deep into like, okay, what a human being is feeling, especially like if they have their own unique talents and quirks, how they are handling them together. People say that it's so good thing to have so much talents and so all those things, but they don't realize what weight it comes to the person when they have so much talent. Like, if you're doing multiple things and then in your mind you're like, oh, am I a singer? Am I a dancer? Am I doing this? Am I
half-assing everything?
Exactly, like a jack of all trade, or am I like jack of all, master of none, that kind of factors. But it's very hard to realize that we are also navigating life, in a sense.
It's happening.
It's happening.
It's been such a stressful situation just to figure out like what is it that I want to do? And like, do I have to have it figured out now? Is my time running out? Like, so.
I think you'll get there for sure. With the personality you have, I think you have a very streamlined and good goal in mind.
Please. I'm literally praying to every God. I'm like, just give me a path, just give me a sign. Like every single day, that's how I get through. I'm like,
just dance away through the life, I would say.
Yeah.
So Neha, were you ever a Bollywood baby?
Like, did I love it?
What was your influence basically in
Pakka Telugu movies. That's all we watched at home. We fought and drove hours to be able to watch it in the theaters when I used to live on the East Coast. So I feel like I can't even remember many of a lot of people will talk about like Kal Ho Na Ho, Kuch Kuch Hota Hai. Like I didn't grow up on that. I grew up on this Telugu movie like Bommarillu and like this specific director that I love. So those are the movies that I was like, oh my God, like
the reason
I
I was
there.
asking about the Bollywood question was because you're a choreographer yourself. So I was under the impression or in that mind that, you know, that combining Bollywood movies, because you used to choreograph wedding songs as well, like wedding dances and all that. So were they based on like completely on Telugu industry, or were they like some influences from Bollywood as well?
There are definitely a lot of Bollywood songs I used to do, but I feel like I mean, now it's a little bit different, but back in the day, I liked the music in Bollywood more than I liked the movies.
Yeah,
and now it's like the music is also a little questionable. So, yeah, I danced to a lot of throwbacks and stuff, but mostly film watching and even Telugu music I love a lot. So,
what was that one inspiring star or like, you know, an actor or somebody, if you want to name any one of them?
That like initially sparked it.
Like for the dance and creativity that, hey, this guy or this girl has a lot of fire, or like, you know, I really like their performance on screen.
I feel like I have distinct memory as everyone else, like watching Madhuri Dixit ma'am's like videos and just like trying to replicate her expressions in the bathroom and stuff.
Believe it or not, I did that too.
Yeah, that's even when I was horrible at dancing, I used to pretend that I was her and I was just like trying to mimic her. So I feel like that was my first memories of like, wow, she can dance. And like I want to be able to like that glamorous like fan in my hair kind of effect.
That whole Sanjay Leela Bhansali heroine.
Oh yeah, that's like my dying dream. But
Sanjay Leela Bhansali, sir.
If you're seeing this.
I already introduced a lot of talent, so what are we waiting for?
It's so funny.
So from doing dancing to singing and everything, and now taking a big leap towards acting, it's not a small step like for a lot of people, because they think that, oh, if you know, especially Indians, they kind of believe that they have to be very well-rounded to be an actor in a sense. But acting is completely different from like, as what my understanding is. How was that big leap for you?
Honestly, I wouldn't even. Acting is a whole other world, especially in the Indian American market or even the Hollywood market. DDLJ happening for me was just a bunch of stars aligning together, just being at the right place at the right time. So I don't
being
even.
modest, she's talented.
I mean, obviously I had the material for it, but like imagine being even in the shared space of a casting director for that. Like I didn't even know that was like happening until after it was happening. And then I was like, oh, this is already passed. And then they decided to cast a few more people. And I was one of probably like the last few people to find out to get it. So I wish I was doing more acting now after DDLJ. I did a few short film stuff, but it's a lengthy process of constant audition. You have to be willing to be rejected. You have to be willing to put in hours for nothing. And there came a point where I was like, look, unless the opportunities is truly worth it, something as nice and amazing as DDLJ, like I don't think I have, between everything else that I'm doing, the time to give per day. You need to be doing this much. And I didn't want to like, I saw so many of my friends that I met through that show that like, this was their entire life. This is all they wanted to do. They were willing to be broke for it. And I just came to the realization that maybe that's not my truth. I love acting, I love film, and given the opportunity, I would love to do it. And I would work really hard for it, but I don't think on a day-to-day basis, I'm willing to put in as much effort as another artist. And I had to come to that realization for myself. And it's hard because I was like, this is what I wanted to do for so long. But with everything else going on with a full-time job, with content creation, it just didn't feel like I was gonna do justice to it. And I wanted to kind of focus on things that were in my hands right now. I also didn't have representation and an agent, which is super important in the industry here.
How important that plays into the role, like for the audience who doesn't know or understand that factor?
It's everything, I think. I mean, especially for like things that will pay you well, things that are like bigger productions, like you have to have an agent. Everything goes through an agent. Things will get casted before you even got to the public news about it, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel like without people that have agents, a lot of them went to school for acting or they've been doing it for a while, they have representation. Just like in like corporate America, right? You went to college for it, you connected with people at fairs and stuff like that. That is a whole career. And it's very hard to like break into that while having your foot in other doors. So given the opportunity, I still audition when people reach out to me and stuff, but I don't seek it as much anymore.
I see.
But that's just kind of like where I've come to terms with it because I get to do modeling, I get to do social media, I get to do content.
That is one art that you would be like, I can
it's
take
more
a little bit
accessible
step.
to me right now. So I'm willing to ride that wave until something else comes my way.
And do you think like it is very common, especially in the industry of the entertainment, that, South Asians get typecasted a lot or like very stereotypical casting?
I think it's slowly changing, but yeah, obviously like it's all at the end of the day, the vision of the director. So if they're envisioning someone that doesn't look like you, whether it is because of race, size, whatever.
Do you think it should be the factor for like any creative person if they are imagining any character or story that they have to envision a certain race first?
I don't know. I'm just like, it's their story that they're telling. Like, who am I to say? Obviously, I want for us people to be like, no, like that doesn't matter. That shouldn't matter as long as they're like incredibly talented. But every race has people that are incredibly talented. So if he or she is like, this is what I envision for this character, I don't personally think that it's a wrong thing. But obviously that puts us in situations with less opportunities because at least in Hollywood, a lot of them are envisioning someone different. But I do think it's changing and I'm hopeful that it'll get better.
And what do you think about this woke casting? Like, for example, remaking the old classic with like a very racially diverse people doing the job or like taking up those roles. What do you think about that?
I think it's allowing for people that never saw any representation on their screen to see themselves. So I think all is fair. Again, if the director was willing to do it, if the people putting the money behind it were willing to do it, the actors get an opportunity that they probably were fighting for, just like your sexual orientation or whatever. Like it's another factor like race. Like if a brown person has been fighting so hard to be able to fill and be truly themselves, I feel like they should also get that opportunity, and people that associate and relate to those people should also get that opportunity. So obviously sometimes with like classics get ruined, it's like a little frustrating, but again, it's someone's creative decision, and like you watch it if you want to watch it, and you don't. Like the power's in the audience at the end of the day.
But this is where I kind of think about like, if the art now completely belongs either to the artist or is it like for the audience? For example, there are certain classic, let's say Godfather or like some of the Disney movies or something that a whole generation grew up, especially when this whole invention of the cameras and everything was happening. So do you think like there are certain things, certain art forms which now belongs to public rather than like, any of the disturbance that's supposed to happen into them?
People that look at art as business look at it that way, I think.
I see.
And people that look at art as their outlet, like you can very much see it in the film industry in Tollywood. There's some that have this many songs. One of them is going to be this item song. The scene is going to start like this. Like they have a very cookie cutter way of building a movie that will
Masala
perform.
genre.
Yeah. It'll perform well. They'll get their money and they know that that's going to happen. There's people that are doing stuff solely out of like, I have this vision. I don't care if this is good enough. People are going to like it. So if art as a business, it's looked at as a business, then yeah, there is like, you have to cater to the audience. If you're looking at it as this is just an artistic output, whether or not received, this is for my satisfaction and this is what I built my career for, then that's how it is, And I feel like both are fair. In an ideal world, both are fair. And in an ideal world, like all art would be like, oh, like the government's paying for me to be artistic and all this stuff, but that's just not the world that we live in.
I don't think
So-
that ever can happen in a sense
Yeah.
because like if the government's gonna pay me, then they will obviously have some expectations about like that will just limit the creative process.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think artists do your thing, and then if there's business people involved, like at the end of the day, it's again the power is in the audience. Watch what you want to watch. Don't watch what you don't want to watch.
Exactly.
It's fine.
I really want to pick apart your brain when it comes to marketing in a sense. Like, what is your process about, like, you know, approaching a brand, like going to talk to them? What goes into your mind, like, you know, what homework any sort of like, you know, content creators should do, or like is something that, you know, they should be actually focusing on when they are approaching a brand for their higher chances of like, you know, getting accepted by that or like getting the acceptance of the offer? How do you nitpick these things? Also, sorry, it's a long question.
Yeah.
But also like managing at the same time to see like if this brand is actually aligns with my personal values too or
Yeah.
not. So how do you navigate those things?
From an influencer perspective or like full-time job?
Full-time job, like content creator, I'm like, you know, I consider that, you know, any artist or any content creator, they have this full-time job because they are constantly putting efforts and practices into it.
Yeah.
So how do you actually go with this process for any people who wanted to learn about this?
Yeah, as a content creator, I feel like there's so much information out there of people telling people that it's done a certain way. There's no one way to do it. Some girl could have popped off based on one video. Some other girl has been building a small community, but she could be getting paid the same amount because her community is so authentic, so involved. So I think there's just so many different ways. There's also like UGC content where it's like you don't have to have a following to be getting paid for content. So I feel like there's just so many avenues. Don't like typecast yourself into I have to be like this one big influencer, blah, blah, blah. In terms of brands, there was a time where I was told I should be doing outreach, and I think it's still valid. Like if you ever want to collaborate with a brand, you personally love their stuff, then definitely reach out and be like, this is who I am, this is my audience, this is why I think we'll be a good fit. And if they're willing to, I'm willing to do a gifted opportunity. If I personally like them, then I'll do a gifted collaboration.
I see.
So, but other
And
than
what is
that,
the difference between the gifted collaboration and the usual?
so it's like barter. So it's like they'll give you product for you to post for them.
I see.
I very rarely do that because it's time, everyone's time. And if they're approaching me, then I'm like, you need to pay me for my time, which is
my
something I
time and
didn't do
literacy.
at the beginning. But if I reach out to them and I'm like, I love your stuff, then I'm more willing to be like, hey, let's do just a collaboration. I genuinely want to just show my audience about you. So there's different kinds of doing it. If you're starting out in your initial stages, like you can always reach out and be like, hey, I'll give you free content. Can I please try your product, or can you send me a product? In terms of if it aligns with my ethos or not, it's just more like, have I used this product before? Do I genuinely like it? Do they have any like strong political or whatever views that I am opposed to? So those are kind of like my first filtrations. And then after that, it's just if like I trust them and would I tell my best friend or my mom to use this or not? That's kind of the standard I set.
Yeah.
But yeah. And if it authentically fits my page, I'm not going to go do like
Very
a shoe
offbeat
campaign
thing.
or like running campaign. I don't run. Like I've never run in my life. So like just being more authentic to like what your page is, what's the story you're telling. And I also posted this video that people apparently didn't know. And it was like, everyone tells you to have a niche. I don't believe in niches. I believe in like you being able to sell yourself as a brand rather than like the thing that you do or the clothes that you wear to be what speaks. I feel like the most successful people are like, whatever I do, people are interested in rather than like they only follow me because I'm good at X, Y, and Z. So I think that's something like you don't need to have a niche to get into social media. If you have a fun personality, if you have something to talk about, if you edit really well, like people are intrigued by different reasons, and it doesn't have to be that you're a good dancer or you're a good singer or you love fashion. Like it doesn't have to be that way.
I see.
So that's just in case you were wondering, because a lot of people comment and be like, I don't know what my niche should be. Like I'm stressed out. Like I don't want to start.
Yeah,
without
most
a
of them like,
niche.
very confused about, should we do this or should we do that?
Just do whatever you like. Sell yourself as a brand. Who are you in real life? That's kind of what your social media is supposed to be portraying, not just like.
Those are some really good advice. I mean, like I should become an influencer now because I'm thinking about it and
There's so many things like this. Like I didn't do a BTS, but I could have come being like, I just got out of work. I didn't eat. I'm like commuting. You guys all have stories. You guys are lugging luggage and like all this gear. You're investing time and effort into it. There's so much BTS that it just happens and people forget about. So I feel like I need to get better about it. Sometimes I'm just like, I don't want the camera on my face. Like, I'm tired. I don't want to think about what angle, lighting and stuff. But people are intrigued by that stuff. I think more people care about what went into the behind the scenes than they do the product of it. So I feel like that's like a missed opportunity that I need to take on as well.
How do you manage all the stress and like, you know, keeping the sanity alive, like during all of this thing? Does it get overwhelming sometimes? Like, you know, scare away everything, you know, just give me some time to sleep or something like that.
I love sleeping.
Me too.
I get overwhelmed by like everything. If I'm too free, I'm overwhelmed that I'm like maybe not doing enough. If I'm too busy, I'm like, oh my God, there's so much to do. Like, I just need to get through this week. So
does it also happen because like a lot of Indian Americans have this identity crisis as well about, are we too American or are we too Indian enough for like certain demographics and audiences?
Yeah.
Do you had this kind of a feeling? Or?
Yes. I've always been told I'm very desi. Like, I'm very proud of who I am. I like wearing my Indian clothes. I like speaking in a language that I've learned from my parents. So sometimes I do feel like the business in America wants people that can cater to other Americans.
Audiences.
So obviously that makes sense. From a brand perspective, why are they going to speak to someone in India if they're selling in America?
Exactly.
But then there has to be this like moral compass for yourself of like, am I going to put a version of myself? Am I going to put me as a whole no matter what? Am I going to do a combination? I feel like that's kind of where I have come to meet in the middle, where it's like, I do have an American side. I'm not wearing Indian clothes every day.
Exactly.
But I did like sharing that a little bit more because it was like my escape.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, there's truth and value to my day-to-day life as well. And if that's going to allow me to do and get more opportunities, then I can't sell myself short. So I try to do both. I still will still just watch my sari videos and stuff with more excitement.
See even dressing up your
Ram
mom
did
and
that
all
one
that.
actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
So those are the ones that I sit down and rewatch and get happy about. Not that my other videos don't, but like the other videos is for people that want to know about my other side, not necessarily to fulfill my creative itch, but I feel like I like sharing things in my life that are going on. So I kind of try not to, I tell my friends, I'm like, I post whatever I feel like posting.
Yeah.
I don't care if there's no like feed that looks perfect or if like there's too much Indian, too much American. Whatever's happening in my life at that time, that's what's going out. And whatever I feel like looking at and editing, that's what's going out. And I owe that to myself, and I just like have to respect that that's my choice. And I can't always feed into like, what is the person receiving it thinking? So yeah, I've been pretty headstrong about like, I think because from the beginning I was told not to do this and I was told it's not going to work for you. I've been pretty headstrong about, I'm going to do whatever I want. If it works, it works. And if it doesn't, I'm the only person that loses something. So why does it bother you?
Yeah.
So that's just my perspective on it.
I see. I mean, like, you know, if you put it in that particular sense, it looks like, you know, from an outside perspective, especially Indian Americans deal with a lot of things, a lot of confusion, a lot of other factors. How did you manage to stay so deeply connected to the roots?
That's a great question. I mean, my world is very small, just my parents and I lived in Dallas for a majority of my life.
Yeah.
And then when I moved to New York, we were in this era of celebrating our culture and like celebrating our identity. And I also tend to keep my circle pretty close of people that appreciate the culture just as much as I do. I have a lot of Telugu speaking friends that love cinema, that love music. So I feel like I just have created it took me a long time because I was constantly around people that didn't get it. And then I would always think that it's my fault. But as I got older, I was like, look, either you can be miserable and surround yourself with people that seem cool, or you can be around people that are cool to you.
Yeah.
I love my friends and
That's really good advice.
Yeah, like, why does it matter what the outside world thinks of your friend group or like your hobbies or your activities that you like to do? I like to go party to Telugu music. So I am only gonna go to Telugu parties. That's fine. Like, that's my time, my money, my energy.
However I want to dance or nothing, not care about anything.
Literally, this is my life. And I think it took me a really long time to be like, I don't care about the noise. Obviously there's times where I'm like, oh, like what do people think? I'm like like people call me a fob sometimes, and I'm like, you know what? I don't care. Like
What is fob?
fresh off the boat.
Fresh off the boat.
Like
I
you
see.
just
Sorry,
immigrated.
I'm very- Oh,
Yeah,
I see.
yeah.
Fresh off the boat, like, oh,
You
I
like
see now.
took a boat to here, which is like so stupid. Just because your culture doesn't mean you're a fob. But I feel like there is a growing appreciation for people that are culturally rooted.
Yeah.
And I also always feel proud when all the aunties and uncles are like, oh my God, your Telugu is so good. And I'm like, yeah, I know.
I
And they
worked
tell their
hard.
kids to do better.
It's a
Yeah.
flex now.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah. So I don't know.
Do you often visit to India?
I go every year.
Every year?
Before I didn't used to because my parents were paying for it. Now that I pay for myself, I go every year because I'm just like, life is too short. I can't live there. So I should just go as often as I can. I should spend time there. I feel like it's just like a breath of fresh air for me every single time I go.
I see.
So, and surprisingly, I always felt that way. I was always excited about the next India trip.
There's something about that.
I didn't
like,
care
you know,
about washing with water. I didn't care that there was no toilet paper. My mom is from the village. I used to go stay with her. It's obviously tough, but like, I loved it. I just felt like, I mean, obviously, I think if I lived there, maybe I would have a different perspective because that's my day-to-day life.
Yeah.
But right now, it's like
No,
this
because then
beautiful vacation.
wherever you are, you kind of like just indulge into that.
Yeah, and life gets real wherever
Yeah,
you are.
yeah.
But right now, it's just like a beautiful vacation. I get to go see all my loved ones. I get like a coffee as soon as I'm awake. Like the collectivist community in India is like something that I really, really miss.
Yeah.
And I try to build in whatever form and size I can here because New York is the most individualistic city. America is an individualistic country. So it's hard. I'm like a very much, I need, especially being an only child, you're like, I want everyone to be around me. I want everyone to be my best friend. I want to do things like, I don't
Yeah.
even go grocery shopping by myself. I'm like, someone come with me. So I try my best to keep that collectivist like roots alive.
Into that.
Yeah.
And what changes did you see when you first like went back to India, food-wise or anything-wise?
Well, the metro is very impressive. Or I think it's called, what is the sky one called?
Skyline.
The metro that's above
Is it like,
Hyderabad.
I think it's the metro. Basically,
think
we just
Mumbai
call
also
everything.
has it.
Yeah, it's just a metro thing.
Not the like railway one, but the one that goes through
we call it metro basically, yeah.
Hyderabad lo paiki ekcheస్తారు. Metro
We-
nena?
It's a metro.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
Okay.
so it's like for us, anything that is on the ground or something like that, that's
Yeah.
train.
Yeah.
Anything that is like very high tech or something, it's like metro.
I remember seeing it before I was moving from Bangalore that was going to happen in the next 5 years. And then when I came back, it was happening. I also feel like there's so many high rises now. It's a very different experience. And the food is amazing. The options are amazing. If you have some like US dollar value, being able to spend in rupees is very powerful.
Yeah.
And I feel like when I'm converting it, I'm like, oh, $3.
Let
take
it go.
So I
Most
feel
of the immigrants who are like come here and they'll go back, they're like, yeah, now we're the richest guys over there.
Yeah, no, also, that's the only time I get to spend my dad's money now. So, because he gives me like the India debit card and I'm like, let's go.
Swipe
This
it
is my
up.
only chance.
So Neha, what I found most fascinating about your journey is that you're not just like into the arts field, but you also know how to combine the art and strategy together. I am also aware of that you have a very strong foundation in communication strategist, which also helps you a lot with the marketing aspect of it too.
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about like, as a career choice, like, you graduated from University of Fordham,
Yeah.
and just walk us through that whole journey and like, what can be the career choices?
Yeah, I think when high school senior year came around and we were starting to apply for colleges and I still hadn't made up my mind on exactly what it was that I wanted to do. I didn't even know marketing was a real degree at that time. You thought, like my dad said, engineering, lawyer, doctor, or business. Like it was just like business and I didn't know what that entailed. So I literally went and did like an online test of like, what should my career be? And that's how I found marketing. And then I did my bachelor's at UT Dallas, where I graduated in like 2 years because I was in a very big rush to get to New York City because I just knew I needed to be in the right place at the right time for the opportunities that I was looking for.
So this was done in Dallas.
Yeah. So I did my bachelor's for 2 years in Dallas and then I graduated during COVID, moved to New York immediately after that to do my master's. And being in New York has completely changed my life because the factor that like just being at the right place, being around like-minded people can be so impactful and so important. And I never had that before. So I came here, did my master's. I always knew that I had to have, I don't want to call it a plan B, but I was like, I want my degrees. I don't want people to have that connotation that like, oh, she's probably not smart, that's why she's in the arts field. Because I was like, I want to be able to say that I have both, and I'm proud of it. Obviously, also coming from an immigrant Desi family, like you
I
always
think that
have to
plays
have,
a lot into that factor.
And I was
being
on a
Desi.
visa at the time, so
I
it was
see.
like either if I want to stay in the country, I have to have education,
Oh.
or like I would have to move to India, which would have been tough with both my parents living here. So I did my master's. My master's is a little bit more focused on analytics. So I kind of got like the whole math science of marketing also
So
kind of
is it
understood.
like belonging to the IT field more?
It's called marketing intelligence. So it's not, I did some coding and stuff, but like
Not into the crazy level.
no, I just did Python and a little bit of SQL. But
And she's saying it's
I
not a
was
big deal.
Very
Come on.
bad at it. Very bad. I knew, I was like, I'm so glad I didn't choose comp sci because my brain doesn't think that way. I think at like a human level. I don't think at a computer level, I feel like.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Like, we may be good with computers in a certain
Yeah.
sense, but not
I know
necessarily
how to
the
use
coding.
one, but like that language, maybe if I was introduced to it earlier, I would have.
Maybe.
I also didn't have the interest. I think the biggest thing was I cared about storytelling in terms of the marketing stuff. I cared about the more qualitative stuff, and obviously like a little bit of quantitative to back up my ideas. But I didn't necessarily care about like building technology.
I see.
So I felt reassured that I was in the right path. I felt good about the combination of degrees that I had gotten. And then I was still trying to figure out like, what does this mean for a job title? Like, I don't know what jobs I can do with this stuff. And strategy is such a big umbrella. So I started off as a content strategist at GoDaddy, where it was more about copywriting, wireframe building, website building, like just mapping out the story of like how a user uses their platform, which I didn't even know what it was until I did the job.
Wow.
And then I moved on to work in media because I was like, I kind of want to be, agency experience is very valuable to marketing people. So I knew I wanted to get into agency. I wanted to work local in New York, kind of be in that hustle, walk by the Empire State Building in the morning. So that was my dream, and I got to fulfill that.
How was it like living in the city of dreams?
It's lonely, amazing, fun, no place like it, but lonely.
Lonely.
It's tough. It's a very huge transition. In the first 2-3 years, every year when it came to re-signing my lease, I was like, I'm gonna leave. I can't do this anymore. But then I would think about where I would go. There's nowhere to go for me.
Yeah, that
But this
happens
is the
once
place
you're
to
in.
be.
Yeah, once you're in New York, you're like, where will we go?
No
LA?
matter how lonely I feel like I still have a community here, and I would have to restart somewhere else anyway. So I always kind of was like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, always kind of been kept here, and I'm really grateful for it. Now I'm hitting 4 years here. That's amazing. But yeah, it's like, again, as I said, like the opportunity here is just unmatched, whether it be like film, like the industries also vary so much. Like in LA, it's mostly just film, and SF is mostly tech.
Yeah.
Here, I feel like there's everything: finance, tech, film, like arts, anything that you want to do, it exists in this little island,
Yeah.
which is incredible. So yeah, I've done work in comm strategy. I've done work in data. Currently, I do data strategy, which is more like consumer research and insights,
I see.
which is really fun because I just get to think about. So I'm thinking about it from an influencer perspective, and then I'm thinking about from a brand perspective, and it's just like it fits all in together so well. I'm able to help myself. I'm able to help brands that I love and care about, both from an influencer and reach perspective, but then also from a brand strategy, like their social
from a very
strategy.
technical perspective
Yeah,
as well,
like
yeah.
just helping a brand like that I love, South Asian brands. I just like love being like building something together, telling a story. Just I don't know, just what the users see. Like I just have this vision, and I love bringing that to life, both as an individual and as like a freelancer. So I'm really, really glad. I feel like more people now know what marketing is since social media started blowing up, because a lot of marketing people tend to be on social media as well.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've seen a lot more people taking it up as a degree now, but it's definitely one that's worth it if you kind of want to have that stability but still want to have creative on a day-to-day basis. I think it's a great place to be.
Just like have a very strong backing as well, so that you can boost your passions in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, I did my master's I don't necessarily think you have to have a master's, but I think now everyone's getting so competitive.
Yeah, what do you think about that? Like, for example, for all the artists, if they have a textbook intelligence as well, do you think that's actually better for them? Or do they make it like better artists? Because they have that kind of a technical knowledge as well. Their brain works in that certain
I don't
sense.
necessarily think you have to have a degree for that knowledge. I do actually think people that are able to put 100% into... Actually, I changed my mind. I think it's good to be diverse because you never know what's not going to work out.
Yeah.
You want to bet on your plan A, but you should have something else or like some way to pivot, whether it's like moving from acting to production or like something. But I don't necessarily think it's a college degree that needs to be that way. I definitely don't think you need to go as far as getting your master's and then go doing something else. But I remember I just saw an interview of the LinkedIn CEO, and he was like, there's this like thing about living your life when you're young, like you'll never get this opportunity again, go to that country, quit your job, which ideally sounds great.
Really good.
But I feel like there's so much more value to like figuring your shit out in your 20s when you're alone, no one's depending on you.
Yeah.
And then either live your life because you did enough in your 20s to like live the rest of your life, or you have much more clarity on what brings you joy on a day-to-day basis and you're not like then figuring it out with a family.
Yeah.
That's my mantra. I'm like, now is the time. Like I obviously still like traveling, I love doing stuff, but I'm not necessarily in a phase of like massive risk taking or anything. I'm like, I want to be able to sustain myself and I want to be proud of what I do on a day-to-day basis. I want my calendar to be full, and then everything else is like, it'll happen for me. Like I will enjoy my life.
Just focus on today.
Yeah.
Just focus on today.
Today's the day. Don't make crazy decisions. I feel like it's so idealistic these days to be like, chase your dreams. That's not the real world.
That hustle culture, what do you think about that hustle culture?
Hustle's great, but don't be overly optimistic. Like have a balance. Like if you like doing something artistic, have hours set in the day where you're 100% doing that, but also have something else that's feeding you.
Yeah.
So,
because I think not for a lot of people that kind of thing works, right? Like if you have this
even
kind
if it's a part-time job, you know, like something. Because also I tried content creation full-time for a little bit and I was like, there's not enough to do on a day-to-day basis. Like
there is just finite things.
Yeah, like I can do 2 things and be okay, then why wouldn't I do 2 things? Sometimes it's tiring, but most times I'm really glad that I get to wake up to a job that I know at a baseline I have this much money in my bank. And then this many hours are occupied by it. And it kind of just gives me structure in life. But that's just my take on it. Obviously, some people that are like, I can't think about anything else. If you're that way, then like, obviously go do whatever fulfills you.
To each his own in a sense. But I think like I would resonate with you personally on my personal opinion that, that is something that if you have a very strong backing financially too. Plus, corporate also kind of makes you prepared to have these kind of
a lot
meetings.
of life skills that I didn't have before. You get to meet really cool people with diverse backgrounds. Like my office is filled with untraditional paths and stuff. And I genuinely enjoy like the perks of corporate America. I mean, I don't like corporate America. I'll be so honest. I don't want to be working a 9 to 5 for the rest of my life. But in this stage of my life, it offers me...
But what if like you climb the ladder and then you're ruling the whole thing?
I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it for me, honestly. But I always wanted to have my own business, but right now corporate America offers me like flexibility. I get to meet great people. I'm learning a lot. And I just have that like level stable ground, and that's good for me now. Will I want to do it in 10 years from now? I can't say, but probably
Who never
not.
knows?
Yeah. I would love to pivot. That's what I was telling my friend the other day. I was like, who said that like at 18 you have to decide what you did for the rest of your life? I wish there was like a round 2 of like, now go try something new. And like in 35 you can go pivot. Because it gets boring to do the same thing over and over again for the rest of your life. So I think that's what I would, if I were to allow to give myself a second choice or second chance and opportunity, I would definitely pivot in my 30s and try something new. Maybe go back to school, do something different. That's what keeps me sane for my 20s. Because sometimes I'm like, what am I doing? I'm doing the same thing over and over again. Like, am I going to do this? Wake up, work, wait for the weekend, like forever? But I feel good knowing that like, worst case scenario, you pivot.
You pivot.
Yeah.
You can just always have the choice. And I think like that whole financial freedom that you created because of that backing gives you that choice. That you can pivot at any point of your life.
Yeah.
Don't want to do it. Don't want to do it. That's how it is.
Yeah, I totally agree. So
a really good insight on that.
Thank
so
you.
managing all this, and then plus also trying to do your own hobbies in a sense, like, something that actually is. So, for example, for me, it's like my comfort food is dal chawal. Anytime, anywhere, like if I'm feeling too overwhelming.
Yeah.
What is Neha's comfort food?
Food. Oh my God. I feel like whenever someone asks me my favorites, I blank on everything.
That's
I
fine.
do love,
Whatever comes to your mind first.
right now, I will change my answer at some point. So don't keep tabs on this. But like rasam rice is what I've been craving.
Oh my God.
My mom's rasam is so good. So I love rasam rice.
You know how she makes it or something?
I've tried so many times, it just does not taste the same. So just left it to go
Sometimes
back
it's like
home.
mother's hand touch, that
Yes,
kind of a thing.
absolutely. And also, I don't have the resources in my kitchen. I'm in like a New York City kitchen.
Right.
It's just not the same. So rasam rice I love, and mango dal I love, which is like, I feel like a lot of people haven't eaten mango dal before.
Yeah,
but
I don't think so,
it's
especially
a
the north
very
side.
I want to say it might be a Telugu thing, but it's so good. It's my mom and I's favorite food. So
I see.
those, me too. But now I've been switching to quinoa, so I like quinoa better than rice. But
Yeah, quinoa is much more healthy.
I
as
like
well,
it.
right?
It's yummy. I like the texture of it. So people should try it out if you haven't.
So 3 things to try, guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Neha, I know this is something going to be a little bit of a question in a negative side. So how, being a content creator, of course, how do you deal with the negative side of the things or negative energy? What is your process when, do you read the comments like where it happens, or does it usually frequently if there are certain people, some outsider or something like that, just commenting on something? What do you see in these situations?
I keep it so simple. I just delete and block. I'm like,
Delete and
it's my
block.
page. You don't have to be here. Yeah, and I'm lucky that I don't get too much of crazy negative comments or anything. It's usually just like 1 or 2 here and there. So I just go, guess who has the power? I do. So I just delete and block. So I keep it very simple. Does it get to my head? Not really. I mean, there's people that are going to hate something about yourself. Like,
Or they just hate everything generally.
yeah, they're just there to
Grumpy
hate.
people.
That's fine. Like, I just find so much satisfaction in just being like, okay, bye. See you later.
But do you think that this thing is actually increasing a lot too? That, that
Negativity?
negativity on social media, in a sense that, so when I see social media, right, I become afraid that one day when I'll have kids, and if they get access to that, there are so much unfiltered information that is going on there. Do you think there is a necessity to have like that kind of a control over that negativity that's going on in social media? Or do you think it takes away the freedom of speech, just like some of the narrative also goes?
No, I don't think freedom of speech should apply to things that harm other people. As you said, like, I'm so scared for me to have children and then have like them access to this whole world of like craziness. But yeah, I think platforms need to do better about filtering people out. Platform needs to do better about blocking and deleting accounts that are doing this stuff. But I think it will get better because everyone's expecting better from platforms. Obviously, with AI coming in, I feel like things will get cleared up more. This also leads to more, I don't know, fake stuff happening.
Yeah.
So I'm a little nervous about it, but I'm hopeful that, I mean, already platforms like Instagram and TikTok have done really good jobs of like, I have certain words that I already have filtered out. So if anyone even tries to comment that, the comment won't go through. So I feel like platforms are doing good, and I think they will continue because there's a lot of weight, especially like if people are willing to ban TikTok for the safety, I feel like they will take other stuff seriously as well.
Do you think like there should be certain campaigns against this too? So for example, I'll give you an example. There was this Bollywood actress, I'm forgetting her name actually. So she started this this page in this company about like stop or like stop bullying, in a certain sense that, fighting against like trolls or like social media bullies. Do you think that is something that is necessary to have, or is it like just their way in which like they can just get out the negative noise or like shun them out or something like that?
I think like it's obviously a good thing that they're doing, but people that have the comfort of hiding behind a screen are going to continue to do what there's like just some people that are like off in the head that just don't know how to treat other people with just like basic human respect. And I don't know if someone preaching to them that they should change, I don't know if that's what's going to change them. Should they have like ramifications, and like should they get in trouble for it? Maybe yes, depends on how severe it is. I feel like there's been AI edits of people in really inappropriate ways. I feel like that stuff should be taken very seriously, because it can get out of hand, especially in a country like India very quickly, and here too, honestly. So
how much is like the AI right now impacting the world of social media or marketing in a sense, like because you can create so much thing?
Yeah, I think it's taking over a lot of creative jobs. Like I just recently saw a Coca-Cola ad that was fully AI, and it's like one of their yearly holiday ads, and it's scary to think that like it can take people's jobs in the future, and it's becoming more and more real. And even with influencers, they have AI influencers now. I don't know if they've ever come across. But
I did one time.
Yeah, it scared me, and it's only like a year into AI that it's that good, that I'm like, give them a few more years and like you won't even be able to tell if it's a person or not. And that's really scary to me. But I'm hoping that by the time all these things start to roll out, more regulation starts to roll out as well. So I'm just hoping.
Fingers crossed.
I know, it's scary. I don't know what the world's going to look like in the future, but I think it's on a rapid incline and change.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm just trying to take it day by day and hope for the best.
Do you think we'll be able to adapt to that world?
I don't know if we have a choice but to adapt.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
I think everyone was freaking out when computers happened. Obviously helped us. I don't know if everything that's like a technological advancement is going to be positive impact, but
the whole strike thing happened last year, I would say. The SAG-AFTRA strike.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's really bad. It's taking people's jobs in real life. But I think as humans, we just learn to pivot. We adapt and pivot. So I'm hoping that'll be the case, and that it doesn't impact too many people, but we'll see. AI has been helpful to me on a day-to-day basis, but I can see how harmful it is on a larger scale. So we'll see.
But do you think like, so this is the last thing that I would actually wanted to ask you about, is that the AI in general, right? Do you think that if AI doesn't have these kind of emotions in a sense that, you know, it doesn't have any need for hunger, money, or like, you know, something to reproduce as, do you think his intentions eventually going to be bad? Or is it just like, you know, it's a machine, so it's probably just going to be in whatever direction we put it in?
Yeah, it's a machine that's taught, right? So, but I think you're maybe talking about like more like human interaction, but I'm talking more like, even right now, it's like creative videos, right? Like it is making things cheaper, faster than a human can, which is true. But in my opinion, brands like Coca-Cola, who are selling to a human, should be using humans to speak to humans. Obviously, these humans should adapt and learn how to leverage AI, but I don't know how ethical it is to replace people with AI. And as you said, if you just repeat what you're teaching, there's only a certain amount of knowledge AI has, and it'll just be rinse and repeat. That's why you still need people, because you need people to think the idea before AI can think the idea. So I'm really hopeful. I ask my manager all the time, I'm like, do you think AI is going to take my job? Like, what do I do? Because I'm like so scared.
Yeah, that fear is always there.
They're like, do not worry about it, because we speak to human truths, and AI doesn't know the human truth without you telling it. So you're okay. So I'm hoping that's true, and I'm hoping that there's no like robots walking around one day.
Sophie, I've been taking my job, you know?
No, seriously, I'm like, AI could have just been doing a script this whole time. It's scary.
What do you think about?
Oh my God, no, I would not show up if that was the case.
Yeah.
I miss human interaction already because of social media. So like if AI gets involved also, it's just
it will just cut us off completely.
Yeah, I already see myself just like in my silo, just like me doing my own thing.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to prefer it, and it's really scary. Yeah.
A little sponsor time. Suma Food is our sponsor for this video right here. Snacks that we have gotten for you today.
As you can
have
tell,
you ever tried these?
I've been eating it. Yes, these are like very traditional snacks at home that we have all the time. In Telugu, we call it murukulu, karapusa, and chudatukulu. I think they probably call it something different where you're from.
So basically for all us North guys, it's like chakli, chuda, and mirchi wali sev.
I've already been eating it, so I can give you a 10 out of 10 review. It literally tastes very similar to the one that my mom makes. She loves sitting in the backyard of our house with a big oil thing, and she loves making them at home. So this is exactly what it tastes like. And I actually prefer them over like chips and stuff. I feel like they're more flavorful.
Well, how
and
was the
crunchy.
Suma Foods Murkulu, if I'm saying it right?
I'm doing ASMR content. It's really good. They're really light, they're fresh, they're crunchy.
They're actually freshly made in New Jersey itself with like the authentic ingredients.
Didn't even have to travel far.
Yep.
They're really good. I love them. 10
So
out of
this
10.
is Suma Foods for us, and really they have one of the best snacks. I usually just go over them, you know. Had any Loca moment of your own?
I actually recently went to New Zealand and I jumped in the biggest swing in the world. So they just dropped us
In
into...
Queenstown?
Yes. Have you been?
Of course.
Oh my God, yeah, I did that. I got dropped into a valley and it was the best experience. Apart from that, I've also done skydiving and paragliding. So I'm like a huge adrenaline junkie. So yeah.
So huge Loca thing vibe going on.
Yeah.
Loca, born in India, made in Mexico, now available worldwide. So do check them out. Also, Neha, that I've also seen you at the launch party of our Loca tequila. Can you tell us the experience of that?
I was awestruck. Obviously, Rana and Anirudh were both there. They're just as handsome in person, you guys. So I was spending the whole time just staring at them, being like, you guys are in the flesh here. And the vibes were so fun. Everyone was having such a good time. And I think Manju Lakshmi was there, which was like a shocking surprise because I'm Telugu and I know her. So she added like that extra flair that the party needed, and it was so fun.
So Neha, as our today's sponsor, Suma Food, they have also included a small gift hamper for you as well. They're handcrafted sweets, which are right here.
Thank you.
There you go.
Oh my God, I'm gonna finish this on my ride home. This is so cute. Thank you so much, you guys.
Absolutely.
And thank you, Suma Foods.